Congrats. I'm familiar with your service because Comcast, my employer, has been using it for years. One thing I didn't know until I read your S1 is just how important Comcast is as a percent of your revenues. 24%, down significantly, but still, having one company as a quarter of your revenues is probably not something you want. How quickly, Mr. Singh, can you diversify that revenue base?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here and on such an important day for Accolade and all of our employees. Secondly, one, you're absolutely right. Comcast has been a customer, and we're thrilled that we're actually delivering service to you, and hopefully you're really happy with the service. We've been delivering that service to Comcast for, call it, almost 10 years now through multiple reiterations of that agreement. And the beautiful part of that story is we're delivering incredible value. We're lowering costs. We're improving healthcare outcomes for all of the Comcast employees, and in turn, making them a lot happier in terms of experiencing the healthcare ecosystem. Directly to answer your question, Comcast as a percentage of revenues continues to decline. We're growing. Last year, we more than doubled our customer base. We're really bullish on our future as it relates to continuing to grow and seeing that number decline, while Comcast will always remain a super important customer to us.
And I know Comcast Ventures is also an investor as well. Back to your customer base, though, again, your four largest customers include American Airlines, a company that's having a difficult time of things. Is that a concern at all in terms of them perhaps cutting back on their usage of your service?
In fact, this is a really important time for healthcare in general in this country. And if you think about how profound the need is today, when the pandemic has made the healthcare system far more complex, number one. Number two, as people are in many ways avoiding the healthcare system because they're worried about going to the doctor in a time where there's a contagious virus afoot, or potentially managing their conditions a little bit differently, worried about their employment environment. A service like ours becomes even more significantly valuable for our customers. And so, whether that's for American Airlines or companies like Comcast, we become an even more valuable service in times like these, where healthcare gets even more complicated, if that's even possible, given how complicated healthcare is in this country generally.
Does that mean that this pandemic and the fact that companies need to navigate this pandemic, and there's so many question marks and there's so much confusion and changing policies on really a weekly basis for employees, that it's been actually a tailwind and has translated into more business for Accolade?
Morgan, it's a really important question, because if you're to think about, as the pandemic began, one of the important things that happened was companies began to come to us asking questions about what public policy meant, how testing was going to work, how in fact they could take care of their employees, and that healthcare went from this important benefit being provided to companies to a business continuity issue. Can we actually take care of our people, ensure they get to the care that they need, and eventually, hopefully, get them back to work in a safe way? And so, in direct answer to your question, absolutely. In fact, we're seeing increased demand for our service, so much so that just last month, we released a brand new service called Accolade COVID Response Care. That offering actually helps employers get back to work. We brought on our first Fortune 1000 client just last month. We released the product last month and brought on our first client this month, and are live with that client this month. That offering is about testing, it's about education, it's about contact tracing, and it's about employee certification. But beyond that, all of our core solutions are about simplifying healthcare. At the end of the day, healthcare in this country is siloed, it's opaque, and too often people are making decisions about their care, not knowing what the repercussions of that decision are, both on their own health as well as on their finances. And so that particular need is even more profound today, and therefore buoying our demand environment.